Okay, so we're here just to wrap up the rest of our interactive notebook entry that we didn't get to in class. Working with rational numbers, and I've just got some examples: 2/3, 0, -3/10 repeating, 4/10, 5, 7/2. All these are rational numbers. Today we filled all the blanks in here. If you weren't in class, you'll have to get that from a buddy. And we practiced doing decimals to fractions and fractions to decimals, but we didn't do these last two examples. So that's what we will do right now. So first, if we turn 1/5 equals what as a decimal? Remember, the rule is top in the box. You want to make sure that you're dividing them properly. Remember that the fraction line means division, so we want to make sure we do that. Top in the box. So the top number is going to go inside your division box. So 1 on the inside, 5 on the outside, and I always do 3 zeros. Remember to put your decimal point up on the line there. 5 doesn't go into 1, goes into 10 twice. And we subtract and get 0. And remember, when you get 0 as your remainder, that means that it's a terminating decimal or an ending decimal. And you always want to have 0 as your placeholder. So we would have 1/5 would be 0.2 or 2/10. Then our decimal we had was 0.15. So if you know right away what decimal place the 5 is sitting in, you could just name it right away. Or remember, you look at what power of 10 has 1, 2 zeros, so that would be 100. So that's in the hundredths spot, and then the digits you have go on top. Then you would simply put that in lowest terms. We could divide them each by 5. So here's where your divisibility rules, once again, will come in handy. 15 is 5 times 3. 100 is 5 times 20. So those 5s can cancel out. 15 divided by 5 is 3. 100 divided by 5 is 20. 3 is prime, so then 3/20 would be that in lowest terms. So we can box those as our final answers. Then, if we finish up the last little bit, that here is the picture that I showed in class, putting glue on the gray area where it says glue, putting that down flat. Hello, so when you cut this part out, then you're going to put glue on here, then you're going to put this face down, and that gray part with the glue will be sticking. And I'm doing this looking through the camera, so I'm sure yours will be a lot neater than mine, but you're going to want to fold all of these, and I cut mine already too. Probably not the best idea. You might want to wait to snip yours till afterwards. So the gray part here that has where it says glue right there in the middle, you're gluing that, putting that face down on your notebook, and then you've got these flaps. So you can, the tricks about how to do fraction to decimal or decimal to fraction, or the steps, you could put those there. You could do the actual work for each of these here and have that in your interactive notebook. Remember to update your table of contents. And if we look here, I've got a short video for you that pretty roughly shows you how to trim that out and put that down, but in case you're not certain how to put it, you can click that and it will help you. And then we've got the file folder part we talked about just briefly today, but you would want to glue that down, and we've got 0.3333 is repeating. So to put that in bar notation, you put the fewest amount of digits possible. So you wouldn't want to put 0.33 repeating because it isn't really 33 that's repeating, but just rather 3. So that's how we would put that there. And some fractions result in a decimal that repeats. So obviously that is a repeating decimal. And sometimes fractions result in a decimal that ends. So that's when you get 0 as a remainder, when you would do the top in the box dividing, and that's called a terminating decimal. And here then are 6 examples. So you can glue this section down, and then you'll have 2 flaps. So you'll want to trim right here on this line. So you'll have 2 flaps, and then you can decide. There are 3 of these that are repeating and 3 of them that end or terminate. And you're going to choose which are you going to put them under. So I would hope that you would pause this, go ahead and figure those out yourself, and then you can start the video up again and see what we get together. Okay, so if you're on this spot, you have hopefully figured these 6 fractions out to see, are they decimals that repeat or are they decimals that end? Because those are the kinds of decimals that are rational. If they don't end or terminate, or if they don't repeat, but they go on and on and on and on, then that would be not a rational number, and we'll learn about those next. So again, we're going to follow our top in the box rule. So 2 goes inside the box and 3 goes outside, and I just put down 3 zeros. 3 doesn't go into 2, it goes into 26 times. And we get 2. So I bring down my 0. 3 goes into 26 times. We get 2. Bring down the 0. 3 goes into 26 times. So look what's happening. We're not getting 0 as a remainder, but we're getting repeating. So 0.6, and we'll put that bar over the 6, showing that that repeats. 1/6. Actually, I'm going to go to 7/8 because I think that one is kind of next in order. So top in the box, so 7 on the inside, 8 on the outside, and 8 doesn't go into 7, but it goes into 70 8 times. 8 times 8 fell on the floor. When it got up, it was 64. You probably heard that. We subtract and get 6, bring down a 0. 8 goes into 67 times. That's 56. Subtract and we get 4. Bring down the last 0. 8 goes into 45 times, and that is 40. So we get 0. So that means that we have a terminating decimal because we got 0 as a remainder. 1/6, top in the box. Doesn't go into 1, but it goes into 10 once. Subtract, bring down a 0. 6 goes into 40 6 times. And here we have 40 again. 6 goes into 46 times. So here we're getting our repeating part. So it's just the 6 that's repeating. So 0.16 with a bar only over the 6, because that's the only part that repeats. 1/4, or another way to say this is 1/4. And you know that a quarter is 25 cents. So if you know that, you can change right into the decimal. Or another trick is if you can multiply your denominator by a number to get it to be a power of 10. So if I have 1/4, well, if I try to make it be tenths, that doesn't work. 4 times something isn't 10. 4 times something is 100 though. 4 times 25 is 100. So 1 times 25 is 25. So 25 hundredths, and you can write 25 hundredths like that, or you can use your top in the box strategy. And then the last ones, 1/12, top in the box. So let's see, 12 doesn't go into 1, and it doesn't go into 10, but it does go into 100. It will go in there 8 times. So subtract, we get 4, bring down our 0. 12 goes into 40 3 times, and we get a 4. I'm going to add another 0 to bring down. 12 goes into 40 3 times, so we can see what's happening here, that we are already repeating, and it's just the 3 that repeats. So our x's there are going to turn into zeros. So we have 0.083, and then just the 3 is repeating. So we're only going to put a bar over the 3. And with 3/5, again, you can do the top in the box, or I know that I can make this be into tenths. 5 times 2 is 10, so 3 times 2 is 6, and 6/10, I know that we can write it like this, 6/10. So if you want to try converting into a power of 10, you can, but you can see it doesn't always work. 12 times something, it's not going to get you a power of 10. So those that repeat should go under your flap that says repeating decimals, and those that end should go under the decimals that end, the bottom flap. And remember, what's the word for that bar? Maybe that'll be extra credit someday. That is on another page in your interactive notebook. So please be sure that you update your table of contents to say working with rational numbers. And as always, your fractions should be in lowest terms. You have to have a 0 as a placeholder if there's no other number, in the 1 spot. So numbers that are less than 1, you need to have that 0 there. And I think that does it for that entry. So math rocks, and so do you. I'll see you next time.